Alex wound up in an orphanage when he was 6. He was left alone after his mother died because he never knew his father. He was never able to adjust to life there. He cried constantly. He refused to eat, and he would spend entire days lying in bed facing the wall. He didn't get close to anyone. The other kids didn't like how he acted. They laughed at him, ridiculed him, and even beat him. This made Alex feel even more out of place and made the orphanage feel less welcoming. The only person who later became close to Alex was Eliza. She was a couple of years older than Alex. She had been in the orphanage her whole life and didn't know anything else, so it was normal for her. Eliza felt bad for Alex. She saw how hard it was for him, so she started defending him from his attackers. She was always with him. She taught him to read and to write, and took care of him. When she was there, Alex wasn't bothered. Thanks to her, he got a little more used to life in the orphanage and made peace with it. When Eliza turned 18 and left, Alex felt terribly alone again. She visited sometimes, and he anxiously awaited every visit. One day, she came, very upset. She said they wouldn't see each other anymore because she was getting married and moving away. She said as soon as they were settled, she'd tell him her new address. Time passed. Alex turned 18. After he left, he finished college and began to work. Before getting hired and getting his life in order, he decided to visit Eliza. He hadn't heard from her in a long time, and he was getting worried. His worries weren't misplaced. He found her in the hospital. When she saw him, she cried out, "Alex, you came! I'm so happy to see you!" "Of course I came, Lizzie. You know there's no one more important to me. What happened? I checked the address you gave me, but your neighbor said you weren't there anymore." Alex looked at her and couldn't believe that this was Lizzie. She was unrecognizable. "Alex, listen, I don't have much time, so I'll be frank. I'm really sick and running out of time. I have a son, Billy. He's 1 year old. He's at my friend's. Please, don't abandon him. I don't want him to grow up in an orphanage like we did," she said through tears. "What about Billy's father, your husband?" Alex couldn't believe what he had heard. "He never married me. Actually, he wasn't a good guy at all. It was good at first, but after a couple of years, he took to drinking. We argued a lot, and he started hitting me. I bore it for a long time, but decided to leave when I learned I was pregnant. After that, he stopped drinking, and it got better. I believe he changed, but right after Billy was born, he went back to it. After he beat me again, I got my things and left. He came a month ago and demanded that we come back, but I said no. He beat me so bad, I wound up in the hospital. Then I learned I was sick. His beating made it all worse. 2 surgeries didn't do what was necessary. They can't do anything else for me. I filed the police report and gave them evidence. He's going to prison." "Why didn't you tell me sooner?" Alex said despondently. "I wanted to, but it was too late. Just please promise you'll take care of my son." To make sure there wouldn't be any issues, Alex and Eliza got married then and there, and he adopted Billy. Eliza died a week later. Now Alex was a widower and a father. Alex took it terribly hard, but he kept it together since he was now responsible for his son, Billy. He got attached to him quickly and loved him as his own. It was very hard on the young, inexperienced Alex at first. He rented a small home in the suburbs and got a job. He had to hire a nanny for a little while, but took him to daycare once he got a little older. Everything improved over time, except for Alex's personal life. As soon as the girls heard he had a child, they lost interest immediately. But Alex believed he would meet his other half someday, who would be his wife and Billy's mom. One day, while driving to work, Alex was passed by a Jeep driven by a girl. A moment later, he saw the Jeep fly off the road and roll into a ditch. There was no one else there other than Alex. He rushed to help without a second thought. He struggled to pull the girl out of the car, and as soon as they were a safe distance, her car exploded. Her name was Anna. She had been dating a young man named David from a wealthy family for a long time. He treated her wonderfully and gave her expensive presents like that car she just crashed. She loved him dearly, and her mother, Gloria, adored her potential son-in-law. But it was more for his finances than for him. Gloria couldn't wait for when David would propose. And he did, but not to Anna. He proposed to a girl as wealthy as he was. Anna was distraught. While hysterical, she got into the car he gave her and took off. She lost control and crashed. If Alex hadn't been there, it would have been tragic. But she was lucky that she only got a concussion and a broken bone. Alex went to visit her the next day. She was happy to see him and asked him to come again. They began to date. She was released from the hospital and said yes to his proposal 6 months later. Gloria couldn't believe it. "What are you doing? You're ruining your life. Why do you need a broke husband and someone else's kid?" she said to talk Anna out of it. But Anna didn't listen. "What about David? Don't you still love him?" she said. "Mom, David married another girl and left. Accept it." Gloria couldn't accept it. Her feelings were exacerbated when she ran into David at the park. "David, I'm so happy to see you. Where did you go? Anna almost went crazy. Can you believe she even got married to forget you?" she said, kissing up to him. "I wouldn't mind seeing her. Here's my number. Tell her to call me," David said. Gloria told Anna about her encounter later that day. Anna acted like she didn't care, but when Gloria gave her his number, she took it. Billy went to his dad, who was getting ready for work. "Dad, you're sick. Does something hurt?" Billy asked. It had been weeks since Anna went to the hospital, and Alex was really starting to feel bad. Anna was pregnant, which Alex was happy about, but there were some problems, and the doctors advised her to stay there for some time under observation. Alex had been trying to hide it and was surprised his son had noticed. "Why do you ask, son?" "I saw Gloria put some kind of powder in the food you take to work. I don't want something to happen to you." Alex's eyes were spinning. At his wife's request, so that her mom didn't feel alone while she was gone, and so Alex and Billy didn't eat half-cooked food, they went to Gloria's house every evening for dinner, and she gave Alex food for lunch the next day. "So that's why I have this strange dryness and bitterness in my mouth and why I'm dizzy. Gloria wants to poison me? But why? Why? She seems so grateful that I saved her daughter. Anna's my wife. We're family and we'll have a baby soon." Alex's thoughts were getting tangled up. He took his son to daycare and went to Gloria's after. "Why are you poisoning me?" he asked as soon as she opened the door. She froze. She looked at Alex, and he noticed for the first time that her face was full of hate and disgust. "You ruined my daughter's life. She loves a good, rich man and is only with you out of pity and gratitude for saving her." "What do you mean? We love each other and are having a baby," Alex answered bemusedly. "You're not just poor, you're dumb. It's not your baby, it's David's. She's been meeting him secretly for a long time. You and your puppy are just in the way of their happiness. Yes, I wanted to get rid of you because I'm ready to do anything for my daughter's happiness and well-being." Alex didn't know what to say. At first, he thought it was just a nightmare. Alex got out his phone. "Anna, is it true about you and David? Is it really his baby?" Alex asked quietly. He heard sobs and, "Alex, dear, forgive me." Alex's head was spinning. He was kept late at work and was late to pick up his son for the umpteenth time. Miss Julia looked after Billy and was holding his hand, waiting for Alex. Julia was a young, beautiful girl. She loved kids and was great with them. Billy adored her. "I have to ask for your forgiveness again," Alex said, trying to breathe after running up. "And again, I forgive you," Julia smiled. "Miss Julia, Billy and I are about to head to the restaurant nearby for dinner. Would you like to join us? They have incredibly delicious desserts," Alex said, scared to get a no. "Of course! I'd love to spend my evening in such wonderful company," Julia said, smiling again. Alex and Billy exchanged happy looks. 3 years passed. Alex and Julia were holding their 1.5-year-old daughter and picking their son up from school. They were together now, laughing and talking as they went to the restaurant. They had a little family tradition. They went there every Friday to get ice cream. A poorly dressed woman walked past. She was pulling a crying girl behind her, was red from anger, and was reading her notes. After seeing the smiling family, she got quiet and froze. it was Anna. But the happy family didn't notice and just walked past. She stood there for a long time, watching that happy couple and their kids, sadly.